Hello and welcome to the Absolute Zero Podcast, a monthly fancast where we discuss the Steins Gate Zero anime adaptation. As a quick warning, we will be discussing spoilers up to the most recently aired episode. So if you haven't watched or played the original Steins Gate, do that first. This will serve as a companion to the Zero anime, so you can listen to it alongside that. As always, I am your host, Dr. Cullen, PhD, known as Cullen, and I am joined by my good friend Steiner.
How you doing?
I'm doing...
No, it's me asking the audience.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, hey, what's up? 'Cause I'm going for a kind of a groovy beatnik kind of vibe this episode.
Oh, really? You're just you're chilling this episode?
Yeah.
We're gonna ignore the fact that we're 2 weeks late, or should we address that?
So some of you may know that we're 2 weeks late.
Yeah, and that this episode is covering up to episode 6.
I'm not going to address this at all.
Okay, even though this is all going to be in the podcast?
Cullen is going to address it right now.
Okay, so pretty much life stuff happened. I had finals, I had the Steins Gate Zero review to do, which you should go watch. But yeah, and in addition to that, I'm not going to go into too much details, but I got into a car accident that I had to deal with in addition to finals and the review. So... I'm fine and everything. It's just lots of stuff happened, and
you know, the thing is in life, sometimes shit happens. Sometimes you crash your car. Sometimes the car crashes into you.
Yeah. So we have a lot to catch up on. A lot of stuff has happened with the series since we covered the pilot. We have the opening and EDs to talk about. The 5 episodes after what we discussed originally, the already infamous SimulDub of Steins Gate Zero.
Yeah, it's got a couple issues.
Yeah, it's got a couple, got some problems. And then I guess we'll wrap it up by just talking about our expectations and future plans for the podcast, because we have some stuff to announce. I guess before we go into the opening, quick thoughts. How are you liking the show?
Yeah, how you liking this show?
No, you have to. You can't just. When I ask you questions, you can't just be like, "Yeah."
I thought we were asking the audience.
Steiner, I'm going to kill you. You are making so much work for me to edit this goddamn podcast. I might even leave this in. I swear to God.
Oh,
Steiner,
I'm sorry.
How are you liking the show?
It's great.
It's a good show? You think the show's good?
Right. I gotta say, adaptation-wise, it's not doing too bad. It's taking some interesting paths, because we started with, well, I don't know how much I want to talk about that, but...
Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit, but...
Well, I'm not going to fully elaborate on how it's doing it exactly, but the game's narrative structure is sort of split into 2 parallel acts that can't really run at the same time, but the anime is kind of taking elements of both, and I think it's... Mamoru Miyano said in an interview before the anime started airing that it would be unique even for people who played the visual novel, and they definitely weren't lying about that, because the way that the plot is being presented is definitely in a unique way.
Yeah, he said that they were also going to introduce stuff that was on the cutting room floor of the Zero visual novel, which I'm actually pretty excited for.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that because again, we have free reign to discuss spoilers up to the most recent episode. So again, if for some reason you're still here, last chance. But before we discuss that, let's talk real quickly about the opening and ending they did, because the first episode didn't have that. It just ended with Amadeus.
Amadeus.
Which was kind of like, I was feeling mixed about that, because like, haha, I recognize that, but also I didn't really fit.
I kind of liked it. I thought it was clever.
No, like, I liked it, but it was like, it didn't seem like it fit the tone before. Because the scene seemed like it was like really emotional, and then you have this like... Wait,
how does the song go again?
It goes...
No. No, that's Fatima, isn't it? How does the Amadeus song... Okay, now I remember. Okay.
I like Amadeus and everything, which again is a great way to transition into the openings, but I feel like Amadeus is a bit too upbeat sometimes.
Bruh, those lyrics ain't upbeat.
Oh, I know the lyrics aren't, but like, I guess just how the song sounds.
Those lyrics ain't upbeat. You even heard this song, it's like, oh shit, this world's horrible. What the fuck, man? Ha.
Well, really, I'm just trying to say I like Fatima more.
I actually really like Fatima, yeah. Let me
right
Google how to pronounce Fatima real quick. No, Fatima.
Fatima?
Yeah, Fatima's fine.
Fatima? Who gives a shit? It's not like pronunciation matters in the semicolon adv.
The Siadvi.
Soidv.
The Sidv series.
The semicolon saga.
Anyways, as I was trying to say, What were we trying to say?
Okay, right off the bat, I guess we could talk about, compared to Hacking to the Gate, because I've seen this brought up a decent amount of times, at least more than
I
three.
like Fatima more.
I was going to say, how do you like it in comparison? I agree. I think Fatima's better. I know the argument is usually made that Hacking to the Gate is cooler looking, but I think Hacking to the Gate is more tonal, like it's tone, not really substance.
I mean, to be quite honest, the lyrics of Hacking to the Gate are probably the blandest out of all of the science adventure songs.
Oh yeah, it sounds good, but I believe that.
It's nicely presented, and it goes with the kind of weird esoteric imagery that they were going for with the repeating, like, motions and visual effects. But lyrically, it's very bland, and Fatima is generally better composed.
Oh yeah, one of the things about Hacked in the Gate, like, I will give it credit. Again, it looks really nice. I like all the stuff going on.
The opening sequence is nice.
Yeah, but I think Fatima, prepare audience for us to pronounce this 5 different ways throughout the whole episode, and I'm ready for you to in the comments say every single one. So I think like Fatomo, I think that
glaucoma,
while like it might not be as like wow cool as Hacking to the Gate, I think it has a lot more substance and there's a lot more going on.
I like more of the subtle imagery that's going on, like at the start where he's holding his hand up.
It's definitely more anime opening, but there's nothing wrong with that, and it looks really good. And again, it foreshadows a lot of cool stuff. There's
the intros, the very start of the title sequence where he's holding his hand up to the sky and he pulls it back down. That's a direct parallel to episode 23 of the original series, where he puts his hand up with determination because he's got the plan.
Yeah, it looks.
But in this one, he doesn't have the plan. He doesn't have anything.
He has nothing but shaman girls.
It's just the shaman girls.
It's just the shaman girls. Oh wait, I'm sorry. The shaman girls don't exist anymore, but we'll get
Japanese shaman girl.
No, that doesn't exist. What are you, a VN only nerd? Shaman girls doesn't exist. So we both like Fatima, but what do you think about Last Game, which is the ED for Steins Gate 0?
Now that's a funnier one. I like the flow of the song, but lyrically it's not so good.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know.
I don't really pay attention to the lyrics. I'm fake like that, and very basic. But
well, it's mostly sung in English anyway. So
yeah, I think the composition of at least how it sounds and the directing that went into animating the ending is.
I definitely think that with the ending, the visuals and the song go together really well. There's like a part.
It's near perfect.
I'm trying to remember. There's a part in the ending sequence where it like has the gears spin around and it's like him laughing or something. I think that's really cool.
Oh yes, that was excellent. Yeah, and I like the part at the end of it too, with Mayuri and Okabe like far apart in that distance, while he's also like not looking at her and he's just looking off to Kurisu, who's stuck in limbo and he can't save.
Yeah,
and then that gap kind of spreads even more, and she realized, oh, I'm never gonna be as good as Makise Kurisu.
Wow. Did you just say that?
Yes, I did.
You just fucking say that?
Yeah. But we've gone over what we feel about the ED. Let's see. Any other thoughts on the ED at all, besides the fact that it's amazing?
I do like it. Maybe more than the opening. I don't know.
I like it more than the opening. No contest.
I have a confession to make. I don't watch anime as much as I used to, but when I did, I tended not to watch the EDs very much.
That's fair.
But with this one, I actually quite like it, so I do stay and watch it.
Yeah, I watch it every time.
The visuals are really nice. Like, I like it when they put effort into the visuals, so.
Yeah, I like it when like the ED isn't just a set of pictures. I'm looking at you, My Hero Academia.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's right. I'm calling you out, you giant.
I like the My Hero Academia EDs though.
I don't.
You don't?
I think they're okay.
What about the one? What about the one where they were fantasy characters?
Okay, I liked that one because I clapped and I said, "Haha, Dragon Quest."
You clapped?
Yes,
you
I
really
clapped
are American.
I clapped at my screen and I said, "Oh, he's good." But we're getting off topic. The only thing I really want to say is I'm pretty sure it's confirmed that there's going to be at least a second ED. I'm not sure if there's going to be a second opening.
I don't actually know what's going to happen with the opening and ED, so.
I know Vic said something that there was probably going to be a second of both. It would be cool if what they did was give us a second one once we go back to the Altair route, and that'll get us talking about what we thought about episodes 1 through 6.
Yeah.
So, right off the bat, while things still not a lot has happened, it's a lot more happening than with episode 1. Usually you have at least some piece of the puzzle kind of being, inserted into the formula. Some episodes, a bit of nothing, but with the conclusion of episode 6, things are about to get really serious, and I like that a lot.
It's good.
Let's see. I think it was either episode 2 or 3 that had a lot of really good moments with Okabe and Amadeus. I feel like there's a bit more Amadeus than I remember.
Yeah, they were definitely showing their interactions more. I think it was really cool how they were sort of highlighting how Okabe had sort of developed a dependency on interacting with it.
Was it the third? Which episode was the? Oh God, I know nothing about this fucking show that I'm doing a podcast on. Which episode was it again that they did the Christmas episode? Was it 3 or 4?
I think
it was 3.
That was 3. Yes, yeah, that was episode 3.
I think they're handling the pace a lot better than the game did. Like, while I appreciate in the game all the little details, when you're adapting that, they've been doing a good job at keeping things going nice and fast, giving us all the stuff we need, and showing what would have been long explanations just by like nice camera tricks and stuff, showing off the world a good amount. And they've added a lot of really nice touches as well.
Yeah, it was interesting, the little dream sequence that Okabe had.
Was that episode 4?
That was 4, I believe, yes.
Yeah, before we get into that, because that is actually a good thing I want to discuss, like what the hell that could mean. I like episode 3 in particular. I think honestly I liked all the episodes. I know that a lot of people are saying this adaptation is shit and that it's boring to look at and like it's dreary, but like that's Steins Gate 0.
Yeah, I've seen a fair bit of criticism about that.
And it's like, like first of all, if you've watched Steins Gate, you should be fine with the pacing.
Yeah, well, obviously, I mean, the original anime didn't really take, it did take its time in setting up the character and the world. And with this one, because it already assumes you're familiar with the setting, it doesn't have to take as much time. I mean, as you can see, we're on episode 6 now, and shit has just hit the fan.
Oh yeah, like, things when, like, they jumped right ahead because it's a couple hours into the VN before we even get to the Christmas party.
Yeah.
And one of the things I liked off the bat is the path split in the visual novel actually happens, I forget the exact day, but it's before the Christmas party.
Yep.
And it is at the shrine. I'm not sure if they showed the shrine too much, but
no, they didn't.
Yeah. All of episode 2 is pretty much Okabe with just showing Kurisu around, which I thought was excellent. Or is that episode 3? No, he gets Amadeus in 2.
So it's the initial split is on the 15th of December.
Oh, okay, cool. Now you have all the information. Cool. So whenever I fuck up, you can just be like, it's actually this.
Yeah.
So 2 pretty much was just meeting Amadeus, getting Amadeus, and then Okabe crying because he's finally reunited and it felt so good.
Yeah.
And then Mayuri looks over and she said, God, I wish that was me. And then 3 was more really just a lot of build up. It was showing the relationship between Amadeus. It conveys pretty well that these two have been talking for a while, and the Christmas party was adorable.
Yeah, I really like that. That was really cute. They also showed Maho in the Christmas getup as well.
Oh, it was real cute. And then
Santa getup.
Liskinen looking like a bit of a creep taking photos.
No, that's just what any hot-blooded American would do.
And you mentioned this on Twitter, and I didn't even realized it until I went back and did my own playthrough because I had to for the review. But they handle, like, I guess Okabe realizing that he can't be over-reliant on Amadeus differently than they did in the VN. And would you like to talk about that?
So in the anime, they sort of have Maho give him a harsh reminder on the ceiling, not the ceiling, on the rooftop. Like she snatches the phone away from him and says, this is not Kurisu, this is an AI based on her thought patterns. You can't go in with this shit.
What they were kind of trying to do there is adapt his feelings during the shrine part. I think you said it was on the 15th of December?
Yep.
They were adapting his feelings there, but doing a different spin on it. I think it works a bit better for our, I guess, the portrayal of Okabe in this. I like this more, actually.
Yeah.
Where Okabe is a bit more reliant, and someone else has to be like, hey, stop that.
I think it's good because it sort of gives you a better feeling for the trauma that he's feeling. The dependency issues that he starts developing as a result of the experience, almost as though he's trying to connect with Amadeus to make up for the perceived sin on his part.
They also And I guess this will transition as well to the episodes after that. What I really like, in which it baffles me that people say this is a bad adaptation, is they do a lot of stuff that, like, because usually it cuts away to other people, like in the visual novel, like the
perspective
POV
switches.
changes. But they do a lot of interesting scenes with Mayuri, which, and I'm not sure if this was in the VN, but there's that whole scene in the anime where she's about to go up on the rooftop, but she sees, and I think she might kind of know, which is weird because she doesn't know who Amadeus is at that point, but she's about to go say something to him, but realizes he's like talking to, I don't know if she knows he's talking to Amadeus, but she backs down and runs away.
Well, Mayuri's sort of, she's passively attentive, like, because, in the original series, she was the only one to figure out who Daru's daughter was, who Suza's father was.
Yeah. Who was Liskinen, of course.
What?
Yeah, no, Liskinen, Suzuha's.
Oh, yeah.
Dad,
Suza's long-lost daddy.
Oh, spoilers for the true ending of Zero, where Liskinen comes down on a chariot on his throne of
Shaman
memes.
girls.
Shaman girl memes that he got from Reddit, and he just says, "Oh, hello, Suzuha, I am your real father."
Then he pulls out a Glock and fires 3 rounds
into the sun, which explodes, and then
robotics notes happens.
And yep.
he's literally robotics notes.
Yeah, and then that's how it connects back to the robotics notes cinematic universe.
I mean, there is actually a connection to robotics notes.
Yeah, but nobody liked robotics notes, of course.
I did, fuck you. But
really?
The thing is, I love robotics notes.
Isn't it like your least favorite?
Yeah, it's my least favorite, but it doesn't mean I don't like it.
Doesn't mean I like it.
No, I like it a lot.
Robotics notes.
I just think it's the weakest title, but that doesn't mean it's a weak game. I just think it's the weakest in the group.
Vic is gonna message me at a certain point, like, "Hey, listening to the podcast now. Oh, it's really good. I have to go do something, so I'll come back later." And then I'll get a message 5 hours later to be like, "You motherfuckers!"
I mean, we're probably gonna have to cut this part because I'm gonna explain. But
okay, give a non-spoiler version of that, I guess.
All right, I'll say so. In robotics notes, a pivotal plot point actually features an altered slash derivative version of Amadeus. In the plot, it's not directly mentioned by name, but in a side material novel about the main heroine Aki's sister, it's revealed that the character based the AI on Amadeus.
Well, isn't that neat?
Yeah.
I can't wait for Robotics Notes Dash to address all the stuff they never planned for in the original game. I love how Dash is just, we set a game in the future, oh shit, we added games between that.
I have no idea what Dash is going to do. It's honestly one of the few things I'm interested in terms of this series right now. I'm not really interested in anything else except Dash.
Oh yeah, I guess we can make a quick side tangent and say Singularity sure was interesting this year.
Oh yeah.
Would you like to explain what Singularity is, or what kind of events these are every year?
So Singularity is like this big science adventure concept kind of thing. They get a bunch of fans to go, and sort of the tradition over the last couple of years has been after the Singularity concert, there'll be some announcements. Basically.
And what were the announcements this year? Which actually, before you say that,
yeah.
What were the announcements last year, just so people can have context for how the fan base felt?
So last year there was loads of big announcements. It was shit. What was the announcements last year?
Off the top of my head, they said, they announced Elite.
Yeah, there was Elite, there was Occultic 9 stuff for the VN, Anonymous Code.
They said that was coming to Switch, which I'm still really excited for. And they also announced Robotics Notes Dash, which is a sequel to Robotics Notes.
Big deal. Looking forward to that one.
So what did they say this year?
This year they said Steins Gate Elite is still happening. And then they also said Robotics Notes Dash is still happening. And then to top it off, they also announced Occultic 9 is getting that update that was promised a while ago, and that's still happening.
Did they actually talk about that? I thought they didn't even mention that.
They briefly mentioned it. They just said it was still going on.
Chio was ashamed of his own baby.
Oh, fuck. I don't even know what's going on with Occultic 9. I don't even know where it fits in the timeline.
No one knows.
It does. It is now in the same world, by the way.
Which, if we go on a tangent on that shit, we'll be here all day.
Yeah.
So let's keep things.
Yeah.
And also, Anonymous Code is still happening.
An Anonymous Code is still happening.
Didn't they specifically say, all the stuff is coming soon?
It's coming soon. That's
so
what
now
they said.
All these release dates...
To be arranged.
Yeah, all these release dates are now soon, which is great.
Yeah. You know what I think is going to happen with Elite with the character endings?
What?
Because you know how it's all going to be animated?
Yeah.
I firmly believe in my heart of hearts that they are going to change the character endings to the 5-minute cutscenes from the pachinko game.
I don't want that. Like
I know it's going to happen.
That's the cynical take, and no offense, I am going to refuse to believe that.
In my heart of hearts.
In my heart of hearts. And we have very different opinions on Elite.
Yes, we do.
But I'm taking the optimistic approach, because I don't have it in my hands. If it's out and it's bad, then I will accept that. But I am very excited because I like those kind of things. I think School Days is one of the funniest Japanese soap opera parodies ever made.
It was never meant to be like that.
I know. But that's what it ended up being, and it's hilarious.
It is pretty good.
But I'm looking forward to that whenever that happens. This was a huge tangent. What were we talking about?
Something about robotics notes.
Oh yeah, so Singular, and then they said, "Hey, are you watching Steins Gate Zero? Please watch Steins Gate Zero."
Yes.
Look at this Kaguri vending machine.
Oh, fuck the vending machines that got all around. Yeah.
I totally forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah, but episode 3. So the end of episode 3, after they have Maho is like, "Bitch," and she slaps him.
Bitch, you ain't gonna be talking to this robot.
One little neat change, I guess, that I noticed in the anime, and I only noticed this again because I played through the roots in the visual novel, is that in the visual novel, Maho makes a comment that she never even got to go to Kurisu's funeral.
Yes.
And that was changed in the...
Yeah, in the anime, they show her at Kurisu's funeral.
So the most interesting thing about that, which is kind of what brings a lot of fans of the VN to kind of question where this is going, is right after that, it is heavily, heavily implied that the world line diverges.
Yep.
And the only reason I say implied is because the next episode begins with a dream sequence.
Yeah, a crazy little brief one.
Yeah, and what did that cover? Shataina.
Well, it covered shit getting, like, there was some crazy shit going on. He was in a war zone, he was being escorted, and then he looks at his phone, and then whoop, he wakes up, he's like, what the hell was that dream?
And that was all events from the Altair route, which I guess we should discuss, without going into spoilers of the end games of those routes.
Yeah, we don't want to cover too much, just in case, because we don't really know where the narrative's going with it. But as I said earlier in the podcast, the Zero visual novel is split into 2 narrative paths. Vega and Altair, and the promised how the fuck do you pronounce it again? Renacimento.
The Kurisu route.
It means Renaissance, okay? It means Renaissance, okay? So the promised Renaissance, okay? The rebirth, fuck you. So it's just a fancy way of saying the promised Renaissance, but anyway, so there's the two paths.
Because Chio likes to look in an English dictionary and point to words, and he says, "That looks deep."
Yeah, except the word Renacimento isn't English.
No, but he looks at things that look kind of English, and he says, "That is deep."
It's Italian. I'm going to get killed for not pronouncing this right.
By the Italian mob.
It's Rinascimento.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's Vega and Altair and the promised Rinascimento.
So it shows us a bunch of events from Vega and Altair.
Well, the thing is, the episodes initially verge left, and we go into the X-Day Protocol chapter.
Which is now part of the normal route.
Well, there was even a... one of the episodes was even called that. And then once he has that freaky dream, we go into the Stray Sheep chapter, which is from the other path. So somewhere along the line he jumped in a way that you can't jump in the visual novel. So the story's going in a slightly altered path.
And we're not sure, again, what caused the leap. The one thing about Zero that's always a little confusing is that it's the explanations on how the world line changes has always been a bit...
Well, I think it was fair. I think I understand. I actually think, I can't really talk about it now, but I actually think that shift answered a question for me.
I still don't really get it. I just kind of nod my head and be like, all right.
Yeah, I think it actually helped me understand a bit more. The thing is about Zero is it's a cumulative experience. You need to connect a lot of... It doesn't spell everything out. You need to connect a lot of dots together to fully understand the story.
And then read all the side material.
Yeah, I think I have definitely benefited from understanding it because I read the Ouroboros novel, which had, the crazy shit in it. I read the Epigraph trilogy, and I listened to Drama CD Beta. So I think I'm a little bit more equipped than the average person to get what Zero was trying to convey, because Zero doesn't really convey that stuff too well on its own, but when you connect it to the other dots, it's a little bit easier to understand.
What the anime is trying to do is kind of implement all that stuff into the anime, so you don't have to connect as many dots. At least that's what I hope they're trying to do.
It seems like it's trying to make a slightly more coherent singular path, but at the same time I worry that might actually undermine one of the points of the VN.
We can't go into too much detail, but rest assured, at least in the visual novel, there is a good reason why you should play both. And what I'm just really wondering is if it's going to jump back after we're done with the events of Rina Shimada, if it's going to jump back, or if they're going to just keep going, which would be really weird.
Well, we'll see what happens.
There's not yet any information on that. We're not even close to possibly... Well,
I mean, in my opinion, a perfect adaptation would have had like a dozen more episodes and adapted every ending. But we'll see.
I'm still actually... This is just totally theory. I think we might at least get Twin Automata.
They'll probably work some of that into the main, to be honest. I feel like they could.
What I want, though, is that risky kind of... Just show me Twin Automata and then have Okabe jump back or something.
That would be cool.
That would be really cool. Like, I want endings.
Happen.
Oh, it totally won't. They're going to, again, like you said, get that into the main thing.
Yeah, it should happen, though.
What I can see them doing is, you know that, like, really heartbreaking scene at the end of Twin Automata, which, I guess, without going too many spoilers, is the first ending you're probably going to get on the Rinascimento path. And again,
is that the first ending you got?
That's the first ending I got. It's like the earliest in that branches, I guess.
First ending I got was Gehenna.
Oh, well, I used your flowchart for my playthrough.
Using my fucking flowchart, you little bitch.
I mean, again, originally I had to do it for review, so I had a time crunch. So I did.
Yeah, I get you.
I did the Renaissance, which is actually, this is why it's kind of interesting for me, because this is the path I did when I played the game. I did all of Renacimento, and then I went through Vega and Altair, and then I got my true ending.
I mean, I'm of the opinion that you should do Vega and Altair, and then Renacimento, and then do Vega and Altair again.
But yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to do it all, like all of Vega and Altair again.
You gotta do.
I don't want.
Nah.
Anyway. What was I talking about? Yeah.
I don't recall.
I can see them taking that scene with Amadeus from the end of Twin Automata and shoving that into the end of what's the...
Pepperoni.
Yeah, and then putting that into the end of...
Into the Promised Pepperoni.
Yes, the Promised Pepperoni, which we will now call it by. I can see them doing that, but we're not even really close to that. I'd say... With the rate things are going, 6 or so more episodes and we're going to be done with this route. Well, I mean, I guess we can say there might be Mother Goose, which is the other ending in...
It's basically the ending where the world line shifts and Okabe ends up in a world where everyone's a goose.
Yeah, everybody is a goose, and then he looks into the mirror and then he is an alligator and he says, "Welp, time to jump back."
Why would he be an alligator in a goose world?
Because I was on the spot and I didn't know what to say.
Why didn't you just say alligator. Goose? He would have been a goose too, you fucking idiot.
No, he wasn't a goose. He was the only one who was not a goose.
Why wouldn't he be a goose in a world of geese?
I don't know.
He's a man in a world of men.
No, he's an alligator in a world of men.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so there might be another ending that's covered, at least or gone into a little bit, which I'm interested to see. It's really just, we're going to have to see how they handle the part where it would have branched into a Twin Automata, because that's going to be a majority of Moeka's character development in this entire game.
Yeah.
That whole ending is pretty much the Moeka Maho Power Hour. And without that, Moeka's probably still going to be largely hated by the fan base.
Well, speaking of character development damage, Mr. Brown.
What about him?
In the original anime.
Oh, yeah. Blick was talking about that
earlier.
So for anime-only viewers, Brown might not really... Because this... anime is kind of going closer to what the VN was doing.
So the thing is, in the original show of Steins Gate, they had to rewrite a large portion of Chapter 9, which was the chapter that was centered around Moeka and Mr. Brown. When they aired the anime, they had to change quite a bit of Mr. Brown's characterization, and in the anime he ended up coming off as a lot less sympathetic.
Do you remember the exact details on that? Because I also don't know that. It's been a while since I played that chapter.
He kills Moeka in the anime. Like, he shoots her in a construction yard. But that is counterpoint to his characterization in the I nearly said fucking manga. What the hell?
In the manga.
his characterization.
Toodaloo.
That's that characterization is counterpoint to his whole rationale in the visual novel, because he tries to save Moeka in the visual novel. He would not have thought of killing her. The only reason he cuts off contact with her is, and he says it's just because he doesn't care, but he actually really does care. He wants to look after her. But in the anime, he just shoots her dead.
And then he's like, goodbye, and then he shoots himself in the head.
Yeah, and then he shoots himself in the head. But in the manga, oh my god! I did it again.
In the manga.
In the fucking...
In the great 2-volume manga that's supposed to cover all of Steins Gate.
In the visual novel, he doesn't move them out of a construction...
In the visual manga.
He doesn't move them out to a construction yard. He stays in his house. He calmly talks to them.
I will say the construction, like, at least the setting of the construction yard, that was really good, but the contents of that...
I guess, but I just kind of liked how he's just talking to them in his house at the dinner table, you know what I mean? But he explains what was going on. He explains that he doesn't want them to hurt Nai, and then he kills himself. But he never once hurt Moeka, and that was the point. He wanted to look after her. He didn't want her to be hurt, which is why he cut off communication with her.
Because he's not a bad guy. It's just that the situations...
He is not a bad guy at all. Like, I get very defensive about Mr. Brown because he's one of my favorite characters.
He's, like, wonderfully written in the visual novel.
Yeah. I don't know, Colin, if you read his manga either, but...
I have not, but I've heard about it. It's
You should. I translated it. It's really good.
I'll look into that then.
It explains, like, what happened to his wife and stuff.
Yeah, he has a really great backstory, which the anime, like...
Well, yeah, he's French. Like, his actual name, like, this is actually a funny little bit of trivia. His name is meant to be Hugo, because he's from France. But there was a romanization issue, so it was written as Hugo, as in Y-U-G-O.
Oh, okay. That's
but his name's actually Hugo Tenergy. He's half French.
The anime also cuts that whole bit where Nai goes crazy, which I'm not sure they wanted to show, but they did for the movie.
Yeah, well, I think it was child violence issues at the time, but basically they show it as a flashback in the movie briefly.
That's actually one of the things about the movie I like the most, how the movie covers all the stuff the anime didn't.
Yeah. So to those of you who have seen the Steins Gate anime but haven't seen the visual novel, haven't read the visual novel, there'll be like a brief spoiler warning just here if you plan on reading the VN and you don't want to hear about what was changed. The one that murders Moeka in the visual novel is not Mr. Brown, it's Nai. She stabs Moeka through the heart with a knife because as a repercussion of the time leap machine and stuff, Nai from the future time leaps back 48 hours at a time for like 15 years, just so she could kill Moeka, because as a child she witnessed her father's suicide and she blamed Okabe and Moeka for it.
And then she tells Okabe that I was the one that killed you in the future and I tortured you a whole bunch. Get ready, bitch boy.
Oh, it was very fucking visceral. Very, very powerful scene.
It's really good, which is why it sucks that it wasn't in the anime. But yeah, it does give you a reason to go play the anime.
Yeah, they had to rewrite it. So they had it so Brown shoots Moeka and then himself. And I think that really made him a bit, like, you could still get the general idea of why he did what he did, but it made him a bit more of a coward, I think.
I think in the anime it also cuts to Nai waiting at home for him or something.
Yeah, making breakfast.
I like that by, like, in a vacuum, I guess.
Yeah,
like that scene.
No, I can understand that.
But now that we're in the Zero timeline, and you're probably like, well, what's the point of all this? Brown in general acts like a lot nicer. He really gets a good amount of time to shine in episode 6.
Yeah.
Like, again, shows him loving his daughter and everything. But there's a really...
Sorry.
Oh, no, before we, like, jump back to, I guess... Wait.
No, you...
Did anything actually happen in 5?
What happened in episode 5?
Oh, well, that's the Moeka stuff, which I guess we'll jump back to. But yeah, 6 kind of shows Brown shifty-eyeing some shit that's about to go down.
Yeah.
Just, okay. I had to cut that a little bit.
He breaks fucking fingers, dude. He's amazing.
Brown's about to do some cool shit.
Dude, I love him.
He's really good.
He's an action hero.
There's, I'll briefly talk about what I'm kind of hoping for. I really hope, like, I want that scene with, and no spoilers, Okabe talks to Brown at a point in the future, and I'm not sure if this is going to be adapted. I can't imagine them cutting it, but just in case they cut it for some reason, we'll discuss that next episode if they do cut it.
Yeah.
But there's a incredibly tense scene of Okabe talking to Brown based on certain events that transpire.
Yeah.
That I am really excited to see adapted.
Yeah, and I just think if there's anyone watching this Euro anime who might be like, what's with this guy's characterization? Just know that it's closer to how he was originally meant to be written, and that the original anime changed him around a bit.
Yeah. You will see a bit more to him that he's extremely...
He's a caring man.
Yeah, he is caring, but he's also, like, he doesn't fuck around. Like, he is...
Oh, he takes no shit.
But he is a good guy at heart. It's just the path he ended up going down made him a bit...
Dude, he lived in the fucking slums.
Yeah, like, he became a bit more hardened because of his past, but he is a caring man.
His mother died of a sickness, and she was like...
She got down
hey,
with
son,
the sickness.
I love televisions. Go to Akihabara.
And that's it.
And then he went.
But episode 4 is, I guess... What happens in episode 4 besides him, being in the New World line?
Well, is he in the New World line? That's the question.
In 4, well, yes.
Is he?
But yes.
Well, he doesn't know that.
Well, he starts to suspect some stuff.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that, and the anime watchers might not know that yet either.
Well, no, because reading Steiner happens.
Did it?
Yes, it did.
Did it?
Because it happened on the rooftop, and then he went...
He definitely did do that.
Which
right.
I as much as I didn't want to, that got a chuckle out of me.
God damn it, man.
It's like some of his yells are so great, and then every once in a while, like, it seemed like that was one of his goofy yells.
Have you seen that fucking that YouTube video? It's from like 2011. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's basically a bunch of his noises, set to like ambient jungle noises, and it's like gorilla sounds and stuff.
If anyone watching this can find that, because we are lazy and we don't want to look for that, post that in the comments.
It's good.
Do our job for us. Make your own podcast. But if it gets more viewers than ours, we're gonna send the rounders after you.
Yeah, we'll get you.
We'll get you. But yeah, 4 and 5, it's a bit more set up and everything. 5 introduces Kaguri, right? Or is that at the end?
Episode 5 is got Kaguri.
Yeah, so we start to see a bit more of Kaguri. 6 is introducing most of who Kaguri is. I seem to recall that Kaguri seems a bit more serious in this adaptation. Not, at least that's a note I made in episode 5 when she was kind of like shown off for a second.
Some good boobies.
Oh my god, yeah. There's a shot in episode 6 when it just cuts to Kaguri's boobs.
Hey,
and it's not that like they're jiggling;
complaining.
it just cuts there.
It's just straight boobs,
and then cuts back. What the fuck happened in episode 4? Like,
wait, what did happen in episode? I've completely forgotten episode 4.
Out of totally remembering, not looking it up. So 4 is basically saying, because I totally forgot, we just started talking about Kaguri without explaining who that was.
Yeah.
So basically, in a very, I think, well implemented way of introducing Kaguri through a series of well directed flashbacks. Kaguri is Mayuri's adopted daughter from the future.
Adopted daughter from the future.
What I am sad that they cut, and I hope they get back to, is there is a scene in the visual novel where they actually show Suzuha going back in time, and it's future Daru, future Mayuri, and Kaguri with her. And
they did show that scene.
They did not.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't. Wait, did they? No, wait, they did. What I was trying to get to is...
The fuck you talking about?
Okay, what I was trying to say is in the visual novel, what they do is Kaguri says, no, I don't want to go, and then Mayuri like yells at her, and everybody in the room just stops because Mayuri has...
What?
Because she has never really done that. At least not in this
I don't think
line.
they'll show that in the anime at this point.
Which is a shame.
But it was... The point was that Mayuri has the force and will at that point to say something stern. But she's saying it because she wants... well, in the scene, the Japanese self-defense force are coming to hunt them down and basically, shoot them to death. So she sends Kaguri back with Suzuha to spare her life, basically.
Yeah. And it's I really
like
wish
a
they
Superman moment.
Yeah, I wish they kept it in. It's not like end of the world, but it was a very nice moment. But let's see. Yeah, so 4 is just kind of who's Kagari, and then
Who is
nobody
Kagari? What's
knows.
the mystery of the Kagari? Oh yeah, and then episode 5 introduced Judy. You know, Judy's like in her late 40s.
Yeah, they make her look younger in this.
Yeah. Well, in the epigraph manga, she actually looked really old, so I don't mind it as much.
And then Moeka is reintroduced, and there's a really good scene at the end of 4 and the beginning of 5 when Okabe is starting to have like flashbacks of, what Moeka did in the Alpha World line.
Yeah, but then he's got to remind himself, that's not the same world. It's not the same shit.
Okay, and to wrap this up, because we spent a lot of time just kind of talking about the, the episodes. So 5 is really just, look at Judy, briefly talk about Amadeus.
Yeah, well, Maho suggests that he gives up his testing role.
Yeah, which is kind of like, which again, it works for this new Maho since she was the one who like told him to.
Yeah, and then Luca shows up, or Ruka.
Yeah, and then she was like, "Hey, look at this Kagari."
Yeah, he's a Kagari with a rusty upa.
There's also a really good scene with Maho that I wasn't sure was in the visual novel where Maho's like, because they changed, I guess, Maho's little. Like, because Maho told him to, like, cut the shit out.
Yeah.
There's a scene when, in episode 6, when she gets a call from Amadeus, where everybody start in the, New Year's party, like, starts talking to Amadeus, and she, like, goes over to Okabe, and I was like, ooh, yeah, sorry about that. And I was kind of a dick, huh?
Yeah.
And he's like, yep, you were. And then he dabs on her. But 6 was one of the better episodes, I believe.
6 was really good. I quite liked it a lot.
Yeah, it gave you a good amount of moments of levity. It gave you a lot of neat plot stuff. There was a very good scene, like nice. I'm into the subtle shit with Mayuri when she she leaves Kagari to talk with Luca to talk to Okabe and Suzuha.
Yeah.
Where she just starts walking away, and then Luca says, "Hey, you're going the long way," and she just keeps going because she's feeling the emotions. Because, like you said, she's a lot smarter than people might realize.
She's attentive. That's the thing.
She picks up on a lot of this stuff, and she can see that something's very wrong.
She doesn't have the brains, but she's got empathy and intuition.
Yeah.
And it's not like she doesn't have the brains. She's just fucking surrounded by geniuses.
Except Okabe.
Yeah, Okabe's just smart.
He's the guy. He says, "Ha."
Well, he got into a good university. He's
Yeah.
an engineering student, so he's not a dumb. He's not stupid. He's just not prodigal like Grizu.
Okay. But besides that, anything else you'd like to talk about episode 5 and 6? Anything that stood out?
I think the thing with Kagari, Suzuha recognizes it right away. I think that was pretty good because it's quite drawn out in the VM.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. There was a good amount of time. And in general, there's a lot more time where they're just like, oh, I sure wish we knew where Kagari was. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that they got that over with quickly because I didn't really want
another
Kagari
episode.
Goose chase, yeah. I feel like they could have wasted more episodes on that if they wanted to, and it kind of feels like the pacing's... I gotta say, pacing-wise, the anime is quite impressing me. I'm quite pleased with where it's going.
And we asked this last time, I think. For you anime-only people, what do you think so far?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is just pleasing people who played the visual novel, but I feel like we're getting our justice after the horrible Chaos Child anime that pleased nobody.
Yeah, I would like to definitely hear comments from people who are watching. I want to hear what you're thinking of where it's going so far and just what you feel about it in general.
Because really all I see is either, our circle of people who played the visual novel who are saying this is great. And then the people are like, this is the worst adaptation ever. I haven't played the visual novel, but this is so boring.
I mean, it kind of defeats the point because it's not meant to be immediate. I mean, the thing is, obviously, with the end of episode 6, this is where shit gets serious.
Yeah, so some new people break in. I'm not going to say who they're affiliated with, but some people break in. Okabe begins to have a flashback to, the stuff with Mayuri. I think the directing of that whole like little party is all handled excellently.
It was good. It really harkened back to episode 12 of the original series.
There are also a good amount of like flashback moments that Okabe has seeing Kaguri. There's a bit of stuff which I think is weird where like Maho's like, wow, she looks just like Kurisu. And I feel like that was a bit more spread out, so it doesn't...
Yeah, it didn't feel so condensed and forced.
She really doesn't look like Kurisu, besides the fact that she has red, like, the red-brown hair.
Like, the thing is, anime Kaguri looks like... She looks closer to VN Kurisu.
Yeah, a little bit. Unless the anime fixes this, don't expect a lot from Kaguri.
Yeah, don't... Well...
Like,
we'll let them see with their own eyes.
Yeah, but like, don't expect like if you have any crazy theories that like Kaguri is from 5 other world lines away, where
Kaguri is
Kurisu's
and dad,
where Kurisu and Okabe had a baby and then they sent her back and said this will be the new child that'll save the beta world line. It's nothing like that. Don't expect that.
Well, you'll see.
You'll see.
Hey, maybe your crazy theories are true. Maybe Cullen's just trying to throw you off.
Maybe, who knows? But besides that, I think that kind of sums up. Pretty much, we recapped the events and what we thought of them.
Yep.
A lot of really great moments that were not in the VN.
Pacing wise, I'm just pretty pleased with how it's going.
I mentioned it a bit earlier ago. That little scene where they kind of hint at what's about to what happens at the end of 6, where all the guys break in. I like that a lot, especially with Brown kind of noticing some
giving
stuff
the
going
shady
on.
eyes.
Yeah, I really like what they did with that, and it just kind of brings me back to like, I guess my point of, I don't see how people can look at this and say it's a bad adaptation.
It's clever. I mean, we might not be getting the full perspective shifts like we do in the VN, but I think it's still doing a pretty good job of presenting the story while it's just following Okabe.
Oh, that totally reminds me. Fubuki. They have unless they're going to go back to that later, they're kind of removing a big part of her character.
Yeah, they didn't really... They didn't really mention
They didn't
that.
talk about it at all. So,
No.
Briefly, we're going to say, there is a whole part... which would have been around episode 2 or 3 of the anime, where it cuts to Fubuki's perspective, and what I am glad they cut is there's a whole scene where Fubuki grabs Mayuri's boobs, and it's like, oh, okay.
I like that scene.
I don't, but the anime cuts that. But what they also cut is a scene where Fubuki.
Well, don't explain it just in case, because it might still be a plot point. But
basically, Fubuki's been having some suspicious nightmares.
Yeah.
About Mayuri, and they don't even address that in the anime. I hope they get back to it because it's some good foreshadowing.
Well, as I say, don't spell it all out, because it might come back to it in the anime in future episodes. You never know.
But if it doesn't, we'll come back to this, hopefully.
Well, yeah, if it doesn't, we'll come back to it in a more spoilery area. But
yeah,
like, some viewers might not want to hear too much.
But yep. So I'm pretty sure that wraps everything up. I really like where this anime is going. They're fixing what did not work in the Zero visual novel and combining it with epigraph when they can.
It is interesting that it's going down a single narrative path, and I'm curious about where that's going to take us.
Well, we don't
in
know that
episodes.
yet.
Well, given that they went from X-Day Protocol to, Orbital Eclipse and Solitude and stuff.
Well, but it could be just that it's doing the same thing it did before, but different. I can see them possibly after the events of Rinascimento cutting to summer and then going back, but what I would much rather prefer is that they do that, like basically I would want them to do this entire route and then jump back. I feel like that would be a bit better, but
well, we'll see what happens.
But yeah, like you said, we'll see what happens. There are some theories that they would jump between them every episode, and I guess I'm glad they're not doing that.
Yeah, me too.
But
it would be a bit awkward to do, but we'll see. The next episode seems to be falling in with the same, Rinascimento pattern, so...
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna see... We don't know enough, but a lot more has happened since episode 1, and we're pretty pleased with that. Before we wrap this episode up, though, it is to my knowledge, and I have not seen this, but Steins Gate Zero has been receiving a SimulDub.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't watch this. Have you seen it, or do you just know what happens?
I've seen it.
Okay. So I assume you've only seen like the first episode.
I only watched the first episode.
Tell me about the amazing SimulDub.
I mean, I'm not fully sold on it. I mean, some of the characters are fine, like Daru's VA. You know, he gives a solid performance as usual,
As he did in the original.
Yeah.
I guess
I actually quite liked him.
yeah.
Well, to be honest, I didn't really have a major issue with most of the dub cast
For the original Steins Gate.
Yeah, I just think it was sorry, go on.
No, I was gonna say as well. I liked the original Steins Gate dub. Looking back on, because that was my first experience of Steins Gate. I watched the original series dubbed, and it's only now that I kind of look back and say, "Oh, I didn't like how you did this, this, and this." But for the most part, I think performance-wise, it's a good dub.
Well, to me, I don't really have an issue with the individual actors, and I actually think that they're pretty good with what they're doing. But I think the direction is awry in certain places. So, for example, Maho, tone-wise, she's way too hostile. And I think this is another issue that shines through with Suzuha as well. So in the original Steins Gate sub, Suzuha was way too hostile towards Okabe compared to like the Japanese. And it's actually the same in this one. I know Beta Suzuha has a bit more hardened, but she sounded nasty in a few scenes, like pretty nasty.
Which that's kind of gets rid of a lot of the subtleties and might even ruin a really good scene at the end of this route.
Yeah.
That only works so hard because of the buildup of Suzuha not really.
It's a tension. It's a bit. It's the underlying tension.
Yeah.
But Maho comes off as way too snippy and hostile. She's sort of meant to be more, like sarcastic-y, but she really comes off as aggressive, especially in the scene where like Okabe confuses her, like for someone younger and stuff.
Yeah.
Like in the dub, she's just way fucking grumpy.
And what about the main attraction himself, Leskinen?
Leskinen. Don't have a lot to say about him, really. He doesn't sound that goofy. He sounds pretty competent.
Yeah, which is kind of...
Yeah. I feel like a big part of Leskinen is how dorky he is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's kind of something
the thing is, you can kind of tell that they haven't read Zero because they're still giving off, like, Tatum is he's a good Okabe when he wants to be, but his performance was too much like the original Steins Gate Okabe. This is meant to be a more subdued, melancholy performance, especially in the voice, but he was full on playing up the Chuny stuff, and Okabe's not meant to be Chuny right now.
Like, yeah, his whole point is that he drops the Chuny charade completely.
Yeah, so like when you had Tatum using like big fanciful words and stuff
and black helicopters.
Oh, the black helicopter thing. I mean, I can see what they were going for, but it doesn't really make any sense.
Especially because that's Chuny as fuck, and again,
yeah,
that's not what you're supposed to do with this character right now.
But yeah, so I think the issue with the script, I hope it gets a couple of rewrites before the actual published dub, but Tatum should probably I believe they said that the actors were starting to play through the game to get a little bit of a look at what's coming next.
Oh, that's
and I
good.
think that they should actually have a little bit more of an appreciation that this is not the same tone wise as the original was. So they can't really play all the characters in the same way.
I didn't know that. That's cool. I hope they actually do that.
Yeah, I saw it tweeted somewhere.
Besides that, I know there's this really awkward scene because in the original presentation scene of episode 1, the whole premise of, like, I guess the framing of that scene is that Leskinen is speaking in English and then Maho is translating that. But
yeah, Maho's there as an interpreter.
In the dub, I think it's I read on Twitter from someone we both follow that it's like, and I haven't seen this, by the way, so I'm just going off what I hear, and I'm probably I don't have a Funimation subscription. I just have Crunchyroll, so I won't be seeing this for a while. So you have, I think, Leskinen talking in English to Maho talking in English, and then translating it as Japanese, and then doesn't she go from Japanese back to English or something?
Well, the thing is, it has Leskinen talking in English pretty confidently, and then it has Maho's dub actress speaking in Japanese, and it's a little painful, but you can see she's trying. But the thing is, they didn't use the original Japanese dialogue. For some reason, they translated it again and used original Japanese dialogue, like instead of just using the Japanese dialogue that she was speaking in the original. So it's a little bit awkward. Like, honestly, given the small time frame they have, I wouldn't really know what to do as an alternative. But it doesn't. It's not the best they could have done. Like, it sounds a bit weird.
Yeah, I'll need to see if I can listen to this. Maybe I'll try to do that before next episode. But
you can tell they were trying. I mean, you can give them some commendation for that. But
really, just so performances are good, but some script stuff needs to be fixed up.
I just think there's an issue with the direction right now and the way that they're approaching the work. Because they're definitely, especially Tatum, he's approaching Okabe way too much like he's the original. And it's just not.
Okay, so that pretty much wraps up what we had to talk about today. Before we go into, I guess, announcements and closing it up, do you have any, I guess, expectations for where you want this to go in the next couple episodes?
I'm really not sure. I just hope that they keep up consistent pacing. I hope they keep things tense. Next episode in particular, I can't spoil anything, but
it's going to be a good one.
It's probably going to have one of my favorite scenes in the VN.
Yes, I am really looking forward to that.
Yeah, so I hope they have that.
Yeah, so I know one of the viewers mentioned that we should do a complete spoiler talk at the end of every episode. We're not going to do that today. We might do that next episode because there's something I kind of want to talk about that I feel I'm a little worried about how they're going to do. And that's kind of the I guess the big twist of this route.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with that.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be crazy.
But besides that, I guess that's really it. A couple little announcements. So we apologize for being 2 weeks late on this.
You know, life comes at you fast.
It does.
It happens.
But we're trying to make up for that. So while next episode, because we're also trying to get back on track, it's only gonna cover 7 and 8. But we're going to have a special guest on. Would you like to describe who our special guest will be, Shataina?
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to be bringing on Blickwinkle. He's a fellow translator. He's the main translator on Steins Gate, the visual novel, really.
Wait, are you saying you weren't the man who single-handedly translated Steins Gate? Was it not a fucking, you?
It was a team effort, man, but he really did do the most of it. So we're going to bring him on. And it's going to be great, actually. Well, it's not. I say it's going to be great, but the guy basically shits out puns constantly.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. You think we're kidding around. No, expect next episode to be full of puns.
Although, don't say too much, because you might feel the pressure. He might be like, oh shit, I got a pun. Now
I am really excited for that. So yeah, next episode, all three of us are going to quickly talk about what we think about the past 2 episodes, and then we're going to try to focus a majority of the episode on something we're going to hope actually lands with you guys, viewer questions. So if you guys have any questions, we would like you to...
We'd love to hear it. If you drop a comment in the comment section with any questions, hopes... anticipations, that kind of thing for Zero, just anything like that, or for us, you know what I mean. And we'll go through them and we'll
pick out
them. Basically.
We'll pick out the ones that work. I would say also as a fair warning. So if you have a question and let's say you don't want to get spoiled, post your comment and then don't look down. Just don't, because there might be spoilers in the questions. We don't know. We can't really regulate that stuff. But yeah,
hard to tell.
So we're going to do listener questions, and we're also going to be hopefully doing, I guess, our spoiler talk briefly, what we kind of hope, because since Blick will be a guest, he'll probably want to have a lot to say about what he hopes the series does. So we're going to get into some spoiler talk as well for people who've played the VN. And that'll be at the end of the episode, so you don't have to worry about us just...
We'll note it.
Yeah, so you'll just stop listening when we denote spoiler talk. But that pretty much wraps up what we have to talk about. I guess real quick, what you got coming up? Anything you can talk about? Anything you want to shill while you're, while we have the listeners' time, while we have their attention?
I'm afraid that at this moment in time, I'm not at liberty to disclose anything.
Well, anything that you can talk about that you've released recently, you want to shill? I seem to recall a certain light novel series that you sure love working on.
Infinite Dendrogram.
Pretty much, if you want an actual good isekai, read that.
It's not did you just call it an isekai?
Is that what it's not? Is that not what it's called?
It's a VR MMO story.
So it's not trapped in the MMO?
No, he's not trapped in the MMO.
I'm sorry, I never got that far.
Yeah, you never even fucking read it.
No, I read it,
little
and then my
bitch.
phone, like I told you, my phone fucking broke, so I need to...
my phone.
I need to re-download it.
Colin, it's a good story about a boy who plays a video game.
Okay,
He's not trapped in the video
but
game.
books.
He doesn't go to another world. He just plays the game.
But books.
And he plays it good.
Books
It's a
are
good
hard.
book. By the way, Steins Gate Zero's episode 6 script was written by Toru Yasumoto, who actually wrote the Orbital Eclipse chapter in the visual novel. It was his anime script debut.
Oh, really? Did you get that from Vic's tweet?
Yeah, I literally just read
You
it
just
word
stole
for word.
Vic's tweet?
Yeah, but cut that part.
No, I'm not going to
Pretend
cut
I'm
it. Hey,
smart.
Vic.
Cut that part. Pretend I'm smart.
Hey, Vic, we stole your tweet. Come on the show.
Hey, Vic. Hey, Vic.
We love
Fuck
you.
you.
Hey, oh, okay. No, but we're going to see if we can get Vic on the show at some point.
Holy shit, the sun's coming up.
That's not good. We better wrap this up.
Sun's getting real low, big guy.
All right, so let's see. Anything else you want to shill while you're here? You want to shill? Well, I mean, obviously, as usual, our Twitters can be found on the bottom right, like the bottom corners of the screen.
You should unfollow Cullen and follow me.
You should indeed do that. And then after you're done unfollowing me, follow my girlfriend at _cpancake, who drew all of the, our little cute portraits that you see on the screen right now.
She's gonna draw for me the Eiffel Tower as a cute girl. She already said she would.
You know what? I believe that. Also, I totally forgot to mention at the end of last episode. I put in the description. She also did our logo.
She did do a logo.
Yes, it's a good logo. I said, can you do the 0, but not with the logo, like the title? And then she said, yeah. And then 5 minutes later, she did this amazing logo, and she said, how's that? And I'm like, yeah, you're amazing.
Okay, man.
Well,
save it.
Yeah,
Save it.
I gotta save it. It's hard.
Save it for the fucking...
It's hard, man. I love her so much. Anyway.
Okay, bro.
So, quick thing. If you have not seen it already, I'm going to shill this video as much as I possibly can. So I actually got to reach out to Spike Chunsoft, and their amazing PR manager actually was able to hook me up with a review code of Steins Gate Zero on Steam. It's, besides a couple issues from the original translation of Steins Gate Zero, which they probably weren't allowed to touch, it's a really good port. It is the best version that you can currently buy of Steins Gate Zero in English. So go support that and watch my video, because I worked myself to death on that. I'm not kidding.
He tried his best, kids.
I honestly, I worked very hard on that. I did the whole thing in 2 days, and while you think that's like, oh, that wasn't a lot of work, no, it was constant.
He's trying his best.
But yeah, go watch that. Tell me what you think.
No
spoilers in that either, yeah. So besides that, what's coming out for me is you can expect, again, more Absolute Zero, hopefully on time.
Yep.
You can expect an Atelier Lydian Suele review that I'm still working on, Yakuza 6, and Psychedelic of the Black Butterfly. But that's going to be it for me. Steiner, do you have anything to leave the audience with? Any words, I guess?
Well, I'm just saying, I hope you're enjoying the Steins Gate Zero anime, and if you are, I hope you consider picking up the visual novel, because translation issues notwithstanding, it's a pretty damn good experience.
Yeah. So let's see. I guess we don't really have a funny haha to end it on, like last time. So I guess just enjoy this fadeaway. Oh wait, let me get nice and close to the microphone.
Doing his ASMR shit again.
Please enjoy this fadeaway to last game. Hopefully we don't get flagged by YouTube. I can't figure out something funny to end this episode with.
You should do a last game mashup with Freddy Krueger.
I don't know how to funnily. That's like way above what I could do because I'm not a music guy. But here's his last game. We'll see you in 2 weeks.